common symptoms of C. difficile is diarrhea. So she had diarrhea and stomach cramping for several days. We didn't think anything of it. We thought maybe she had a stomach bug, so we didn't go to the hospital initially. And then after day 3, I was concerned, so we decided to go to the hospital. And initially, they did treat her, even though we didn't know at the time for C. difficile. They treated her as if she had it. They started her on broad-spectrum antibiotics because it took 24 hours for the tests to come back to confirm that she had C. diff. So we spent 5 days in the ICU, and at maybe by day 2, she was doing better. She was urinating more frequently. Her blood pressure had normalized. And we're not sure what happened, but by day 3, things turned the other way, and she ended up passing by day 5. And I'm someone who works in the healthcare field. I'm a CAT scan and an X-ray tech. And although I was aware of C. difficile, from what I know of it, it's typically patients who are on antibiotics, who have been in a nursing home or healthcare facility for extended periods of time, or have encountered other people with C. diff. And my mom had none of those predisposing factors. So it's still troubling to me as to how she got it.
I think it's really important to hear your story, in particular about community-acquired C. diff. I think maybe most of us know of it as a hospital or a nursing home-related infection. So I think from an awareness perspective, that it can occur in the community is so important.
Correct, and knowing what I know now, we would have went to the hospital sooner. I would have never occurred to me that she had anything that potentially deadly that was going on, and so one thing one of the doctors that tried to help my mom, Dr. Colleen Kelly, a GI doctor, she introduced me to Christian from the Peggy Lillis Foundation, and I've been working with them since last November. We went to D.C. this past April, and we were doing advocacy work there. And, I've learned so much from it. I've learned that, hundreds of thousands of people get diagnosed with C. diff every year. Thousands of people pass away from it. And so awareness is definitely important. Also, too, if you do have symptoms of diarrhea, just to be on the safe side, go to the hospital, get checked out. That's something else I've learned. And, definitely early detection. I know in my heart and my mind that if we went to the hospital sooner, I know things would have been different from my mom.
Eric, it's so sorry to hear your story, but I think all of the awareness work that you're doing is so important. So what has been kind of your experience with the Peggy Lillis Foundation? What are some of your goals in terms of awareness and working with them?
My mom, when she passed, I felt like I had to do something. I really didn't know what to do, but I knew I had to do something. So, like I said, Dr. Kali put me in contact with Christian, who is the president of the Peggy Lillis Foundation. He also lost his mom 9 years ago from C. diff as well, too. And it was wonderful going to D.C. and meeting all these survivors and discovering that, these are people who actually have long-term effects from C. diff. Their minds aren't as sharp as they used to be. Some of them are physically disabled from it, and that was shocking to me because I had no idea that could happen. So definitely, meeting other people with it was comforting. Sadly enough, it didn't turn out well for my mom, but, if I can lend my voice and, make people aware of it and to get tested for it, or, if, like I said, if they have symptoms like diarrhea and stomach cramping for several days, to get checked out. But I think that's what Christian's doing is wonderful, and he's reached so many people, and he's been doing this for 9 years. He travels all over the world educating people, not just the general public, but doctors and nurses as well, too. And like I said, people like myself, I'm in the healthcare field, and I was aware of C. diff, just like I'm aware of MRSA and VRE, and I know how to protect myself from getting it. But I had no idea if you were, someone who's healthy, active, not immune compromised, not on long-term antibiotics, that you can actually, contract this illness and die from it.
I think the theme of the conference that we're here in terms of connecting the technologies that we all work on a day-to-day basis to the patients that can benefit from them. So it's really important to hear your story. So, thank you so much for, the work that you're doing during a really tough time.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It brings me some measure of comfort. Eventually, I hope to do more, but definitely now just lending my voice is what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue to do that, and hopefully this will evolve into something more and something greater.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to continuing to work with you and the Peggy Lillis Foundation. So, and thank you again for taking the time to be here. Did you have any other parting thoughts, or about patient advocacy or anything that you wanted to?
I think actually something that came out at the conference is that people who end up contracting C. diff and actually recovering from it, they don't tend to, seek out advocacy work. And I think that's very important. Meeting survivors is very inspirational. And, it's wonderful that, yes, that I'm doing it on behalf of my mom, but, she didn't survive. So to actually meet people, in DC in April that actually survived this illness, I think that's wonderful and it's empowering. And I encourage people who actually have suffered from it in the past to actually come forward and join maybe Peggy Lillis, advocating for Peggy Lillis, or in any way they possibly can to spread the word about the illness and about advocacy.
Absolutely. And Eric brought some really great fact sheets about C. diff, so they're on our table if anyone wanted to grab one.
Yes, I brought fact sheets from Peggy Lillis Foundation, and the statistics are on there, how you can contract the diseases on there. And if you go on Peggy Lillis's website, it's also helpful tools for treatment. The main treatment is antibiotics, but I will mention that they also do fecal transplants today for infections like C. diff, other infections as well too. But and they actually have some very promising results for the fecal transplant. So that's on the Peggy Lillis Foundation as well too.
Yeah, great. I think we're all kind of looking forward to continuing to see how we can bring those types of really innovative therapies to more patients. So.
Great.
Okay. Thanks so much, Eric.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.